Hello. Today I want to talk about, can family be karmic? And the truth may actually shock you. So we know that friends, acquaintances, marriages, relationships can be karmic. We know that. But can family members actually be karmic? Can even your own children actually be karmic? Especially if they were conceived with a karmic partner or within a karmic marriage. And more than likely, we're talking about adult children. I can't imagine that a little child would be karmic, but I suppose it's possible. But they're so darn sweet and cute and adorable. It's hard to imagine that. So, more than likely, we're referring to adult children. So, that's what we're talking about today, family dynamics and individuals or relationships being karmic within those family dynamics. So, first of all, let's define karmic. So, we all know that karma, the word karma, just simply means what you put out, you receive. That's just universal law. It's cause and effect. Vibration equals vibration. Or karmic can mean past lives. We're talking about something in a previous lifetime. We may refer to that as karmic. But karmic family members, karmic relationships within a family dynamic, that's what we're defining here. And that can be defined by volatile connections, connections where there's manipulation, there's lying, deceitful behavior. Oftentimes, there's hidden motives involved. There is a desire to control someone else or someone's behavior or an outcome. The desperate need for control within a family dynamic. And that desperate need for control of others or others' lives or the outcome is due to a lack of control within their own life. Therefore, they feel that desperate need to control others and to control outcomes. Karmic individuals thrive on gossip and division. They thrive on jealousy and greed and hardship. They also thrive on hatred. They don't cultivate peace. They cultivate havoc. They are vessels of destruction. That's a word that was given to me many years ago by the divine. So, some of these things that karmic individuals in a family dynamic will do is they'll use sinister thoughts and words and actions, such as blame and shame or guilt, or they will justify their behavior by stating it's out of love for that person in the family. And let's just think about that for a second. Let's think about that statement, out of love. Well, that certainly doesn't sound like it's in love, that their thoughts, words, and actions are actually in a state of love. It is out of a state of love, outside of love. So if someone has ever told you, well, I'm just doing it out of love for you, that's something you want to stop and think about and kind of look into that statement a little bit further. And the biggest thing that karmic individuals will do is use gaslighting. That is their MO, their modus operandi. Their mode of operation is gaslighting. That's what they thrive on because gaslighting is a form of control, passive aggressive control. And when you are in a family dynamic where there are karmic individuals or karmic children or karmic relationships, it can bring up a lot of different emotions. You may find yourself feeling guilty for thinking that, or it may bring up pain or shock, disbelief, thinking, well, that's my family. I mean, why would family do something like that? But once again, we are talking about karmic individuals, individuals that are vessels of destruction. They are not vessels of peace. They are not vessels of true love. They are vessels of havoc. They cultivate havoc in the lives of others. You know, they say blood is thicker than water. And yes, the consistency, the substance of blood is thicker than the consistency, the substance of water. However, blood can also be contaminated and toxic. And that's certainly not something you want within your bloodstream, something that you would want within your life. And part of this awakening process, part of this ascension process that humanity is going through, is recognizing truth. Even truth that's difficult to accept, even truth that is difficult to acknowledge, but nonetheless, truth is truth. And when you are awakening from that deep sleep of false teachings and false comforts and false people, you are awakening to what the truth is. And your first thoughts are probably, well, why would the divine, why would God allow something like this in my own family? Why would God allow these type of family dynamics where there are karmic individuals that thrive on creating havoc and destruction in other people's lives? But everything happens for a reason. And the divine, God, goddess, whoever you refer to, allows things to happen in our lives sometimes so that we can recognize the truth of who people are. And then we can make the conscious, aware, awakened choice to love ourselves and make the choice to do what is healthy for us in an act of self love. You know, sometimes self love is doing the difficult things, recognizing truth, and then making a choice for ourselves. What is the best thing to cultivate awareness and expansion in our own consciousness? What path will lead us to that rather than a path of destruction? And you may be thinking, well, people can change, and that's true. People can absolutely change. They can absolutely go from a vessel of destruction to a vessel of peace and love and divinity and beauty and hope and charity and all these wonderful things. Yes, anyone can change if they choose to. But sometimes that change is not going to take place in this lifetime. Sometimes individuals were created just as vessels of destruction in that lifetime. And then in another lifetime, they may be the humble, loving, giving, beautiful persona of the divine, an expression of the divine in the next lifetime. But ultimately, while we occupy the human body, the human consciousness, it's not always easy to see the larger picture or the larger reasons, the more definitive reasons as to why things occur the way they do. But as you awaken in your ascension and as you recognize truth, it is then your responsibility to do something with the truth that you know. Because, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, once you know the truth, you cannot unknow it. So, therefore, you have to decide what is the most self loving thing that you can do for you. And that can be difficult because sometimes the family members that you choose to walk away from are directly connected to family members that you absolutely wish you didn't have to walk away from. But again, you have to ask yourself the hard question: what is the most loving thing that I can do for myself and for my life? And that may be to release karmic family members or karmic children or karmic family dynamics. You have to forgive and then bless them. Bless them with a pure heart, and then release them into the hands of God, into the hands of the divine, and allow the divine to handle them however the divine chooses to do so. That's not your concern. That's not your anything, because you are releasing that into the hands of the divine. Walking away from family is not always a loss. Sometimes it's a beautiful thing. So I hope this knowledge has helped you understand maybe some things within your own family dynamics. And if you have recognized that there are karmic family members, even karmic children, karmic relationships, hopefully that has raised some questions within your mind as to what is the most loving thing that you can do for yourself and for them, because releasing them into the hands of the divine can be the most loving thing that you can do for both of you. And I am sending you all lots of love and lots of activation energy.